Welcome back, Proppers. Today's project will be the avatar mask. I'm going to start the project using the template for the Aman mask by Thomas Hanna of Much Props. Instead of cutting out the left and right halves of the template separately, I'm going to use some spray adhesive to glue two pieces of cardboard together and cut them all out at once. For free templates and more detailed instructions on putting this mask together, go to Thomas Hanna's channel, Much Props. I will be making some slight alterations to the original design of this mask to suit my project. I start off cutting through the thick piece of cardboard with my box cutter. That's when I realized that I do have a bandsaw and I have just replaced the blade. The bandsaw is quicker and more efficient, especially when cutting large curvatures and small template pieces. I'm transferring the template pieces onto my 6mm HD foam by Stephen K from SKS Props. You can order your own HD foam from a link on SKS Props channel, or you can order directly from Blick Art Supplies. It's an absolutely great product, so you want to carefully position your template pieces so you'll get the most efficient use out of it. The green and blue markings that you see on some of the template pieces designate the angle of the cut. Green is an inward angle and blue is an outward angle. For more detailed instructions on those cuts, go to Thomas Hanna's channel, Much Props. Before cutting out each individual piece, I cut out large sections of the template to make it more manageable. After all the template pieces are cut, the edges are smoothed out with my Dremel rotary tool. To help create the curvature, I utilize my heat gun. After heating up the EVA foam, I press it against my plastic dome to get a little more curvature. Contact cement is applied to all of the edges, allowed to dry, and then attached together. There are registration marks on all of the pieces to make sure that everything lines up perfectly. The left and right half of the mask are completed separately before attaching the two pieces together. I know I'm running through all of this very quickly, but if you want more detailed instructions on how to put this together as well as the templates, go to Much Props channel. I'm just using his template for a base to my project. Here I'm putting the nose on from the original template, but I'm going to change that later so you can really skip that part. I'm going to attach some 4mm strips on the inside of the mask to lock in the curvature. The strip is applied with contact cement while holding the mask in the curvature that you want. The original template doesn't come with a chin section. I'm using some 6mm foam and I'm going to create my own chin. Now this little guy's bald head is just the right size for my chin, so I'm going to utilize it to make the template. Darts are cut out of the 6mm EVA foam so I can get the curvature. Instead of removing the nose from the original template, I split it open, cut off sections, then I create the new nose in the form of the avatar. I did this to save time. You could eliminate the nose completely and just put in the new nose in the form and shape that the avatar has. Foam clay is used to help shape the nose and smooth out the edges. I mark out an opening for the mouth, and when I'm happy with it, I cut out that section of EVA foam. The edges are then smoothed and rounded over with the Dremel rotary tool. To change the shape of the forehead, I open up the seams on the top, and I use 2 patches of 6mm EVA foam to hold them in position. The gaps are then filled with foam clay and then smoothed out. I also use foam clay to fill out all the other seams, crevices, and connections on the mask. With that completed, I'm going to utilize some 2mm EVA foam so I can create a pocket for the mouth. The 2mm foam is heated and then formed over a cup. The mouth pocket is attached from the inside of the mask using contact cement. Foam clay is again used to create a smooth transition between the seams. The bottom section of the nose is attached with contact cement, and the Dremel rotary tool is used to create and shape the nostrils. The entire project is sanded down before applying its first layer of black Plasti-Dip. Both of the ears are then shaped and created out of 4mm EVA foam. All of the edges are rounded with the Dremel rotary tool. The positions of the folds in the ears are marked out, and they'll be created later with foam clay. To add dimension to the ears, I'll cut out sections for the openings and then back it with 2mm EVA foam. After the final forming of the ears and the drying of the foam clay, they'll be ready for their first coat of paint. The mask is giving a second coat of white Plasti-Dip, and after that's dried, it's sanded down again. The ears are then positioned and attached with contact cement. The eyes seem to have turned out a little asymmetric, so I'm going to utilize a template to even them out. That's much better. A final coat of Avatar Blue is applied to the mask. Pieces of 2mm EVA foam is heat formed to create the eyeballs. A visual opening in the pupil is created with a small hole punch. After trimming the eyes down to size, they are attached from the back of the mask with contact cement. The eyes are attached before the contact cement has fully set up. That way I can have a little movement to get the pupils centered. The eyes are painted bright white, and then little white accent dots are applied to the mask using a needle point. A small black ring is painted around the eye openings. I use orange acrylic paint to brighten the inside of the mouth. To apply accent and shadow to the face, I pull out my I may not work airbrush. And although it did work in this particular instance, I ended up covering up most of this work with hair. I used my X-Acto knife to cut slots inside the gum line to insert the teeth. After inserting the teeth, I use hot glue on the inside of the mask to lock them into place. I also use a little hot glue in the front to create a gum line. On the larger canines, I also use some instant glue. I'll be using rope to create the hair for the avatar. "18-inch pieces of rope will be cut for the main sections of hair, and 3-foot pieces for the ponytail. After cutting each section, I use some hot glue to keep the rope from fraying. Okay, let's speed it up just a little. To make the mask wearable, I attach some elastic bands to the back using instant glue. The bands are reinforced with small pieces of 2mm EVA foam. the anal retentive part of me insists that I cover this up with some glue. With the mask completed, I can start applying the hair. On these shorter sections of rope, one side has to be clipped and then frayed out 6 inches from the end. After those pieces are frayed out 6 inches, hot glue is used to make sure that the rope doesn't unravel any further than that. The very tips of the frayed sections are glued together, then it's attached to the top of the head. The three 3-foot pieces of rope that make up the ponytail are frayed on both ends. One end of the ponytail is attached to the top of the head with hot glue in the same manner as the other strands, integrating it as well as you can for a natural look. Any gaps are filled in with these shorter strands of hair. The 3 longest strands of the ponytail are then braided together. The braid is then sealed with hot glue just before the frayed section. To create a band near the end of the ponytail, I used a piece of decorative tape. I had to create 2 more short strands of hair to fill in a couple of gaps. I didn't realize at this point that I was actually gluing it to my dummy's head. So when the time came to remove the mask from the dummy's head, I had to rip those pieces off and then attach them to the original hair with a piece of felt. I started to brush paint the hair black and decided that that wasn't gonna do. I didn't have any more black paint, but I did have a little more Plasti-Dip left, so I decided to spray that on. I also pulled out my on-again, off-again airbrush and tried to put back some of that detail that I covered up with the hair. I was getting a little weary at this point. I'll probably come back and do a little more detail with the airbrush, but I'm going to call it a day at this point. So there we have it. That's the end of this project. Once again, thanks for watching. I always appreciate your support and patronage. Don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to the channel, and press that bell notification so you know when each new project is uploaded. You can also support me by buying my new book, Inherent Evil. It's available on Amazon and on Kindle. And if you purchase it, when you purchase it, don't forget to leave a review.